Hi, welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm making Mrs. Lee's Chinese empanadas or Hom Sui Gok. The name Hom Sui Gok literally translates to salty water corner. That strange sounding name is hard for people to relate to, so I'm just going to call it Chinese empanadas because I feel they most resemble empanadas and people can relate to that. This recipe came from Mrs. Lee, who was an extended family member of mine. She was a sweetest lady who was a fantastic cook. She came to the U.S. when she was a young woman and had often tried to recreate foods she remembered back home, and I'm lucky enough to have a few of her recipes. She left behind recipe for the empanada skin, so I made my own filling. Since it's close to Chinese New Year, I can't help but to sneak in a few New Year good luck foods. So let's take a look at the filling first. This is the list of ingredients I used. Chinese like to play on phonics to make words into lucky or sometimes even unlucky words. And during Chinese New Year, these words are often food related, hence the tradition of New Year good luck foods. Celery is definitely a good luck food. It is called kan choy in Chinese. Kan sounds just like kan lik. That means diligent or hardworking. If you want to be diligent and hardworking in the new year, then eat some celery. Green onion is another good luck food. It's called chong. Chong sounds just like chong ming, which means smart or intelligent. If you want plenty of smart in the new year, then eat lots of green onions. Shrimp is a huge good luck food. It's called ha. Ha sounds just like laughter, so it represents happiness. So eat lots of ha to bring you lots of happiness in the new year. The other ingredients are mushroom diced, water chestnuts diced, and a pound of ground pork. That's all the ingredients for the filling. Now we can cook it. Heat up the wok. As soon as you see white smoke, put in a little oil. Then put the ground pork in. Then season it with a little salt and a little white pepper as well. When the ground pork is almost cooked, push it over to one side, then add the mushrooms in. We're putting ingredients in the pan with ones that require longest cooking time first. Add a little soy sauce, then stir it around and mix it well. Then add celery and a little salt. As we add one ingredient at a time, you should always season each ingredient individually as you put it in the pan. Add some oyster sauce and mix well. Add shrimp. It cooks quickly. That's why it's one of the last ingredients to go in. Then add the water chestnuts and mix well. At this point, do a taste test to see if you have enough seasoning. Finally, add green onions and a little sesame oil. Then turn the stove off and mix well. Set it aside and let it completely cool before using it. Let's look at the ingredients for Mrs. Lee's empanada skin. The only thing I changed was to convert 1/2 of a cup of lard she used to 1/3 of a cup of canola oil for my own personal preference. You can use 1/2 a cup of lard like her if you choose. This is wheat starch that you can find in most Asian supermarkets. You only need 1/2 a cup. Then I microwaved 1/2 a cup of water till it boils and pour it into the wheat starch. Mix it well. This is 1 pound bag of glutinous rice flour. You're going to need the entire 1 pound bag. Then add half a cup of sugar, a pinch of salt, 1/3 cup canola oil. You'll need approximately 1 1/2 cups of cold water and put it in the flour and mix well. When the flour and water are beginning to combine, you can add the wheat flour ball in the mixture and continue mixing them together. Keep mixing till the dough is formed into a ball. Then you can knead it with your hands. The size of the mixing bowl should be clean of any flour. Keep kneading. The dough should be soft but not sticky. The recipe didn't specifically say to let the dough rest before using it, but I find it easier to work with it after I covered it and let it rest in the fridge for an hour. It's been an hour now, so I can start making the skin for the empanadas. They'll need 30-gram dough balls, or about size of a golf ball. Take a dough ball and flatten it to about the size of your palm. Put it on top of your fingers and curve it like a bowl. Then put a teaspoon of filling in it. Pinch it together in the middle, then along the edges, making sure it's sealed. Then put it on a flat surface to shape it the best you can. This step is very unconventional. You see the bottom of the dumpling is smooth and pretty? I turn it over and use the pretty side as the top. Then I reshape it to an oblong shape. The dumpling now is smooth and pretty. I'm not an expert in shaping dumplings, but the finished product looks and tastes better than many store-bought ones, I assure you. Just want to give you a heads up. I halved the original recipe, and this recipe can make close to 50 empanadas. You can cut my recipe in half or freeze half of your dough. I actually pre-made mine and put them in the freezer. Freeze them on a cookie sheet first, then put them in a Ziploc freezer bag. If you want to go this route, be sure to thaw them thoroughly first before frying. This worked out quite well for me. There, I have a whole tray done and they're ready for the fryer. Heat up a pan of oil. Put a small piece of dough in it to see if it's hot enough. If the dough floats to the top, then the oil is hot enough. Or you can put your wooden chopstick in it. If you see bubbles on the chopsticks, then it's hot enough. Carefully put a few empanadas into the oil, one at a time. Be sure not to let them get stuck on the bottom of the pan, so move them around just a little bit. They'll be a little sticky at the beginning, but after the crust is formed, they won't be sticky anymore. They'll stick to each other at the beginning, but separate them right away so you don't end up with one giant empanada. The crust will form in a couple of minutes. Once there's a crust, they won't stick together, so go ahead and put in new ones as long as the pan is big enough and there's room for them to move. When they start to float to the top, turn the heat to medium-high. Since the filling is already cooked, we just want to make sure that the skin is cooked all the way through and that it doesn't burn. It is important to keep turning and rolling them around and around so that they fry evenly and for even coloring. Make sure not to over fry them. They should be taken out when they're lightly browned. This is the finished empanadas or Hom Sui Gok. It is a popular dim sum dish eaten any day, but they are especially popular during New Year because of the golden exterior that represents a golden box filled with treasures inside. This Hom Sui Gok can rival any dim sum restaurants. When you bite into it, the outer skin is crunchy from frying, and then when you get inside, it is warm and soft, filled with delicious filling. They are absolutely addicting and delicious. As I'm enjoying my Hom Sui Gok, I remember Mrs. Lee's big, beautiful smile and her even bigger heart. I hope she approves of how mine's turn out. So thank you, Mrs. Lee, for this wonderful, delicious treat. You can find the recipe under description. Please like and subscribe. Thank you and have a good day.